Vertigo is one of my best maps despite all the weird changes to A site, and I want to show you all the most important spots to play, as well as what to do when you're in those spots. Starting with middle, you have a few options. If you're going solo, you can hold a flash and just run to middle. Here, you can hear anyone rushing A, mid, or B. If they're coming middle, you throw your flash to either get out or hold your ground, depending on how good your mid spawn is. If you hear them rushing A or B, you can use this flash and bounce it off the floor to cross into the ladder, silent drop down, and you can cut off the underground rotates from here. Everything on this map is based on the underground rotates, since the enemies have to come through this one area if they want to rotate. You could then clear corners and tell your team what's going on. Do you hear the enemies at ramp? You could just wait and tell your teammates that they're waiting at ramp. If they're at B stairs, you tell your teammates they're waiting at B stairs, and you have your teammates rotate to B. Back in mid, if you need to play more passive, you can throw a Molotov off of this wall here to stop anyone from coming up ladder or middle. If you hear the rush, you could throw a grenade off of the drywall stack to slow down enemies even more, so your teammates have time to come help you. And you should be running for either this corner or behind sandbag, which if you crouch here and wait until the enemies see your teammates first, you could pop up and catch at least one enemy off guard. Your best case scenario is if you can get all the way back to CT spawn or even elevator. Doubling up in middle is also very powerful if you know you have two good A defenders. The player closest to middle could take a peek while the player in the back flashes in. And if the front player hears a rush, then the back player can help you get out. And you get a new option for retreat, since you could boost up onto this box and then hold the mid angle with your teammate. Next, let's go over B stairs control. Early rounds, I like to send two players to get B stairs control, or send in one player and have the other player play connector or backside for support. The best utility to use for B stairs is a Molotov thrown like this to cover the bottom, and if you hear people rushing through the Molotov, toss a smoke here on the first platform and call over your support player. B executes shouldn't cause your whole team to rotate unless both your B defenders die, or you have control of underpass and you know that the enemies are still stacked at B. When enemies have control of stairs, there's a few things you could do to buy your team time to rotate. If you have another smoke, or the enemies happen to have a smoke here, you can sneak across and hide here to give useful info for your team. You can even have your team wait until you shoot first, so you can pull the crosshairs away from your teammates. If you're in middle and you want to help your B players, you could throw a Molotov or grenade here to hit the stairs, here to hit danger. You could do this run jump throw to stop players from planting double, and bounce a molly off of this beam to stop them from planting default. Other than B stairs control, you shouldn't make a habit of getting a flank through B stairs, since you're typically the only B player, and if you die, good teams will just call a rotate to B, and then they'll split up your team even further. You should only lurk through B stairs if your mid lurk asks you to do so, or if all 5 were spotted somewhere else on the map. Otherwise, you're more useful rotating to hold middle, or helping your team retake B if the T side does end up rotating. Later in the game, you might have 3 players going A, and that leaves you alone at B, so a risky but powerful play is buying an op for the hold. If you get the B spawn, you can run in with your knife all the way to this angle to fight the first player to peek with a pretty good advantage. And whether you hit that shot or not, you can get a lot of info of whether they're rushing B, and just pop into the smoke and then pick angles until your team rotates. I usually like to hold default, double, and back pillar. For A site, it's been made very difficult to hold as a CT, but you can definitely still do it. Have at minimum 2 people go A, and throw this utility at the start of the round. Wedge yourself in this corner, look at this line on the traffic cone, and then right click jump throw a Molotov. Then from the exact same spot, aim here and bank a nade off of this wall as shown. This will do massive damage to anyone who wanted to run through that Molotov, or it will stall them long enough for another player to come help at A. If you're the other A player, you should drop a smoke or molly for your teammate, then either play here, here, or here. If you happen to have the time to go sandbags and you're willing to go for it. What you could do at sandbags is hold a smoke in case you get mollied, and you could put pressure on the T side while your team comes into position. If you aren't playing sandbags, your job is to keep the enemies at ramp for as long as possible. If you're getting 3 players A, you could double swing ramp by having one player go catwalk and another one peek at the jump up. Very powerful when combined with the smoke thrown off of this beam here, as well as the utility I showed a minute ago. Share this video with your teammates so you guys are on the same page, and you don't have to try to teach them this stuff in game. If there's anything you know about defending Vertigo, leave it in the comments so we can all learn. If this video helped you at all, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.